Hi friends, I'm OJ Jarvis, and welcome back to the Lewis Jarvis Show. Originally, I was going to do a video about what could have been the fate of Felix Jaeger, the comrade of Gotrek Gunnarsson. Of course, we know what happens with Gotrek. He's out and about in AOS and having his own little adventures. And with information that we get from the Realm Slayer audio dramas and Ghoul Slayer, we will get hints about what could have happened to Felix. And originally, I was going to do a video on this. Yet, at the end, I decided to not really do so because, well, to be honest, I felt like I wouldn't bring any new information. I just feel like I would be just repeating information that everybody already has access to. So, I decided against it. Yet, I figured, why don't I do this? In celebration of the new Stormcast Eternals, why don't I present to you guys my proposition, my theory on what kind of Stormcast Eternal Felix Jaeger could be if he was to be reborn into one. Because it has hinted that it is so within the first audio drama of Ram Slayer. So out of all the fates that could have happened to Felix, it is most likely that he is a Stormcast. But what kind of Stormcast Eternal would he be? What kind of Stormhost would he hail from? This is but my idea though. And at the end, I'd like to hear your ideas in the comments down below on what kind of Stormcast Eternal Felix would be. Again, this is just my point of view. In terms of what kind of Stormcast Felix would be, well, here's the thing. He is a fighter. Like, throughout the Gotrek and Felix books, we often hear Felix thinking back on his time in university, having these duels with these students. And of course, throughout the stories, we see Felix literally learning his way of fighting with Gotrek on the field. He's literally learning how to be a swordsman in the work field. So Felix is a fighter, but he's not a soldier. What do I mean by this? Well, like I've said before, he learned how to fight literally through duels and in the field. He learned how to fight when he fought against Skaven, with orcs, with trolls, with chaos mutants, with chaos worshippers. You get it. That's how he learned how to fight. He literally had a sword and prayed that he survived the next day. Though he is a fighter, he's not necessarily a soldier. He wasn't raised with drill instructors. He wasn't trained how to fight in rank. That's what a soldier is. And in my point of view, at least with these Stormcast Eternals, of how I see it, Stormcast is like liberators or sequitors or prosecutors. In their past lives, they would have been soldiers. Because with these Stormcast Eternals, they do fight in rank. They do fight with shield rows, with spears, with swords, to fight as a unit. For instance, the character Jordan from the second Realm Slayer audio drama, he is a prince, yes, in his past life, but he was brought up to be a soldier, and when he eventually died and was resurrected as a Stormcast Eternal, he was brought back as a prosecutor. Again, a soldier type of Stormcast, something that he was in his past life. So with Felix, because he wasn't a soldier, I don't see him being either a sequitur, a liberator, or a prosecutor. I don't see him as those kind of Stormcasts. But because of his life of questing, I think the most appropriate Stormcast that Felix would be a Knight Quester. Because after all, a Knight Quester is a Stormcast literally taxed for a quest by Sigmar himself. Considering Felix's past life of, again, being this questing type, I think it would be appropriate to resurrect him as a Knight Quester, considering the role that the Knight Quester has. So that's how I see Felix being brought back as a Stormcast Eternal. Brought back as a Knight Quester specifically because of the role that the Knight Quester has. And with Felix's past life, that's a handsome resume to become a Knight Quester. But what Stormhost would he hail from? What quote-unquote chapter would he be resurrected into? Whilst it would be a simple answer to make him a Hammer of Sigmar because how they're the equivalent of the poster boys and they are the sort of ultramarines of AOS, I think I have a more interesting idea on what kind of Stormhost you would hail from. I think the Stormhost that Felix would be a part of would be the Anvils of the Heldenhammer. Why do I say this? Well, here's a little bit of spoilers from Realm Slayer, the first one. When Gotrek was passing through Shaiz, he did meet the ghost of Snorri, and he would ask him if he had met anyone else within the afterlife, or in this case, the realm of the afterlife, if he had met anyone else from the Warhammer fantasy world that they were familiar with. Snorri did state that he did met with a few of Gotrek's other companions, that he did meet Orica and Max. But why is this important? Well, I think this quote states why.
Each of the Anvils of the Heldenhammer hails from a time lost to the mists of memory. They were not rescued from the threshold of death fighting against chaos, but were already long slain at the time they were plucked from the mortal realms and taken up to Azir. They have learned well of the afterlife and what it is to be a ghostly presence in the Shaiisan underworlds.
So considering how the Anvils have recruited their number, I do think it is appropriate if Felix himself was an Anvil. Because if he wasn't a spirit within Shaiz, such as Max, Orica, or Snorri, I do think it would be possible, when Sigmar was creating the Anvils of the Heldenhammer, that he did get the soul of Felix Jaeger. And because plenty of times in the Gotrek and Felix books, that when Felix was thinking to himself that they had some kind of divine plan to fill, I think it would go something beyond their life within the fantasy world, in which it did. Gotrek is out alive within the AOS setting. He is the sort of demigod of Grimnir. So why wouldn't Felix also continue his role of being part of Sigmar's divine plan, to play the role of a knight quester? And considering how the Anvils use the knowledge of their past life to become efficient stormcasts, again, considering Felix's past of a quester, because he is such a big character with such a big history, with so much experience, why have that past, or why have this huge resume go to waste if he was resurrected as a blank slate stormcast? Why make him a blank slate for the Hammers of Sigmar? Have that past life be of use. Be of use for the Anvils of the Heldenhammer. To be of use as a knight quester. To be of use of Gotrek, if need be. Maybe later on Felix would be quested on to keep an eye on the Slayer. Maybe to help him out on some type of adventure that he would have. To be of use for some kind of divine quest down the line. Maybe another type of divine quest that would have him tag along with Gotrek once more. But this is my point of view, at least. This is how I see Felix if he was brought back as a Stormcast Eternal. It's my theory, it's my proposition. However, I would like to hear your ideas in the comments down below this video. What kind of Stormcast Eternal do you see Felix being? What Stormhost do you see him being part of? Or do you have your own alternate take on what Games Workshop should do for the character? Tell me your ideas in the comments down below. I'll be most interested to hear. But with all said and done, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all again next week with a brand new video. Have a good day, everyone. And if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to subscribe, then make sure to activate the bell notification button so you'll never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and I'll see you again soon. Have a good one.